Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Water Songs Workshop, the place where I work on character ideas, try out art challenges, and try to make your day a little bit brighter. It's that time of the year, the time where artists draw my favorite mythical creatures based on different prompts. That's right, it's Mermay, and no self-respecting merfolk lover like myself could possibly pass up on the opportunity to draw these beautiful creatures. I asked my friends for some ideas about what the theme should be, but my roommate is the one who stood out with the ideas. He told me that I have a tendency to draw the prettier things, and that I'm not always going to have it easy like that. So he challenged me with a theme of deep sea, and the prompts of alien, pressure, thermal, and dark. These are fairly outside of my comfort zone, but I also know that I have the imagination to twist things so that they work in my head. So I begrudgingly took on his challenge, and now I'm going to share it with you. Let's dive in. Pun intended. The first prompt that stood out to me was pressure, as it sounded the most difficult, and I had the least amount of knowledge of how that relates to the deep sea. After a bit of research, I came up with the perfect deep sea creature to represent this idea. I came across the oarfish, a long eel-like creature with a long bright pink fin and an oddly flat face. Now, why would I choose this creature for the prompt of pressure? Apparently, this creature warns people of disasters soon to come, as it can detect a change of pressure at the lower levels and flees to the surface. Whenever an earthquake or a tsunami is about to happen, we will see these creatures washed up on the beaches in their attempt to escape. Unfortunately, the lack of pressure in the upper layers does not keep their body together correctly, and they don't last long. Because of how this creature responds to pressure changes in their area, I figured this would be the perfect representative. Maybe these merfolk are the seers of the sea and only reach out to other communities when they sense impending doom. I decided to keep the majority of this creature intact when I interpreted it into a merman. I kept the skin almost gray since he wouldn't get much light, and I turned the pink fin into more of a mohawk near the top of his head. I wanted the ears to look like the fins, and I wanted to give him a more flat nose with a long, slender body to continue to reflect the oarfish. And here is my finished interpretation of an oarfish as a merman. My next prompt is thermal. Now, the only things I know relating to the word thermal are thermal regulation, relating to controlling your body temperature, and hydrothermal vents, or openings in the seafloor that let out toxic gases, minerals, and lava from where two tectonic plates meet. Think of an underwater volcano. That second one sounded incredibly interesting, so I decided to do some more research. Very few creatures can survive in this area, as the water is incredibly hot for this low, and is also filled with far too many minerals for most creatures to be able to breathe. But there was one creature that ended up standing out to me, the yeti crab. These crustaceans live next to these vents and wave their furry arms over the vents to catch the bacteria that comes up in the gaseous clouds and eat them, effectively purifying the water while getting its fill. Now, from first looks, you're probably thinking, how in the world am I going to make this abominable creature into a pretty mermaid? But I eventually came up with an idea. I decided to use the teardrop-shaped shell as both the bra and the tail. I turned the furry part of the claws into a fluffy boa, and the end of the claws and parts of the legs into a frill on the edge of her tail. Then the antenna became a ribbon in her hair and some flagella on the end of her tail to help her swim. It's kind of an odd design, but in the end, I really like her. I imagine that her society of merfolk are the healers who gather the ingredients they need from the mineral-rich thermal vents on the ocean floor. And here is my finished concept for a yeti crab as a mermaid. My next prompt was alien. And now, the majority of the creatures in the deep dark look incredibly alien to me already, but I really wanted to find something that just felt like it was out of this world. The creature that eventually caught my eye was the deep-sea crown jellyfish. The strange, sparse stingers and the discus shape with the glowing circles and lines looks so much like a glowing red and blue spaceship. I couldn't not include it. Now, I know this creature won't have a tail like a normal merfolk, but with the prompt of alien, all sense of normality is just completely out the window. I decided that for this concept, I wanted to extend the blue glowing bit at the top of the jellyfish and turn it into the body of an alien mermaid. I gave her big blue eyes and a mildly translucent body to give her that underwater alien vibe. And I gave her a large orange-red sun hat with pearl-like fringe as a way for her to try and blend into society, and as a mirror to the stingers. Finally, I made sure her body was glowing in all the right spots so that she has this ethereal essence to her. I'd like to imagine that she crash-landed in the ocean and tried to acclimate to society as best as she could. Think Resident Alien style. Maybe a little bit on the nose, but if the metaphorical shoe fits, wear it. But here is the finished concept for a deep-sea crowned jellyfish as a mermaid. My last prompt for Mermay is dark, which may be the furthest prompt from my normal style. My original thought process was to play with the idea of bioluminescence to demonstrate how deep-sea creatures adapt to the darkness. But then I thought that might be a bit of a cop-out. I wanted something that blended into the darkness. Then I realized that I could do both. I realized that a viperfish, a fish closely related to the anglerfish, had the best of both worlds. It can blend into the background with its dark coloration, but it also has bright parts of its body that can lure in prey. For the design, I decided to keep the dark colors and the bright blue and red glows that happen on the viperfish's body. While you can't see it in this pose, I also have it in my head that his jagged mouth can fully unhinge and capture fish that get too close. I also decided to make his hair turn into the glowing lure that is on the viperfish's back. I think that the society of merfolk would be ambush hunters that keep to themselves and communicate with each other only through their glowing lights. And here's the finished piece of a viperfish as a merman. And that's everything. I had so much fun finally getting to participate in Mermay and trying to figure out how to incorporate these deep-sea creatures into merfolk. It was also so much fun adapting them to their specific environments based on the creatures they were inspired by. If you decide to participate in Mermay, let me know in the comments. I'd love to look at your ideas. Also, if you haven't already, remember to subscribe so that I can get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. In the meantime, keep being fantastic, and I'll see you around. I'll decide that when I get to the title, I guess. Okay, let's turn my phone off. I turned the furry part of the claws into a fluffy boa. One more time. I'm not even sure if I understood what I was saying. I'm gonna do that one more time because I think I hit my mic. I think that and adapt them to their specific environments. That's a fucking run-on sentence. Hold on. That's the sentence. That's a long-ass fucking sentence, but that's the sentence. I don't know why, but my vowels do not come out on the word participate. Also, if you haven't already, remember to hit the subscribe. Also, if you haven't already, remember to hit Jesus Christ. Remember to learn how to speak.